Alright, so today it's time for a best-of-3 series of professional StarCraft 2, where in game number 1 we find ourselves on Waterfall. The spotting right here in the top right-hand corner, playing with the red Protoss pieces, we have none other than herO. herO, as we'll be making this video, currently the best Protoss player in the world. His Protoss versus Zerg is looking ridiculous right now. His opponent, playing here with the blue Zerg pieces from Taiwan. We are looking at Rex's main hatchery. Now, I don't even know if I've actually casted a game of Rex before and then uploaded it to the YouTube channel. So here's the situation. Rex is currently the rank 88 in the world. However, he recently joined the team on-site. So you see that little badge spinning around on his main hatchery. I kind of want to see what Mr. Rex has been up to recently, because apparently he's good enough to be picked up by a team of that caliber. So on-site recently started a couple of months ago, and the very first player that they hired is Maru. Like, that's one of the craziest stories in StarCraft 2, right? Like, we have like a bunch of one-man teams in StarCraft 2, right? Like, for example, Mr. ZERGLING comes to mind. ZERGLING has been on Team ENS for a very long time, and once upon a time there were multiple players on Team ENS too. But then I guess, you know, he just got all of their salary, and I don't know if that's the case. But anyways, that's basically Team ZERGLING these days, right? They have like other esports teams too. But anyways, as far as their StarCraft division goes, it's just ENS ZERGLING. And I kind of thought for a little bit that on-site was going to be a similar story too, where it was mostly just going to be Maru. I know that Crank, for example, very well known Korean content creator for StarCraft 2. He joined as their general manager. And then Neep joined as well, right? So Neep, the American Protoss player, he also joined, which is very interesting, right? So he obviously, that was also a bit of a funny pickup, because first Neep mentioned that he was gonna maybe retire, and then he joined that team. And then after that, Mr. Rex also joined it. So we have a Protoss, a Zerg, and a Terran on it. I'm excited to find out exactly what ended up going down in this best of 3, and how well someone like Rex fares against someone of the caliber of herO. Well, you know what? No scouting here from herO, and maybe this is a beautiful pickup right here from Rex, since herO decided to skip the probe scout. herO obviously has been playing some ridiculously greedy Protoss. Maybe he can be punished for it. You know what? This is as close to being GG at the 2.5 minute mark as you possibly can get. Normally what you do is you go for a probe scout to figure out what's happening on the other side of the map. Rex decided to make a bunch of Zerglings before he knew what his opponent was going for, so these Zerglings could have actually backfired pretty hard, especially obviously since link speed is not going to finish up for another minute or two. Either way, he took a gamble, and so far, I mean, herO took a gamble too. It turns out Rex apparently hit, you know, another cart, even though he already had 18, right? He decided to get a little bit greedy. Okay, so no additional Zerglings as a follow-up though, so Rex, if he would have continued making links, would have just won the game straight up right here, right now. But it looks like herO is going to be able to stabilize for the time being. What herO has been doing in PvZ recently is mass expansion and mass gateway unit. Usually what he does is he starts up with, or mass gateway units, rather. He starts up with a few oracles, up to about 5 oracles. Usually keeps producing them for quite a while too. And then eventually he transitions toward like mass gateway, right? So he goes for a load of expansions. Usually the very, well, the first base gets taken at like, you know, 20, whatever supply, right? And then you go for like the third nexus at, what is it? Like 3 minutes, 45-ish seconds. Then he takes like a 4th base, and a 5th base, and a 6th base, and he doesn't really stop expanding. That's the style we've seen from herO quite a bit. There's a load of replays out there to go ahead and study, and apparently, despite that fact, I guess Rex didn't realize that a Stargate was produced during all of that chaos. He loses a couple of drones, 3 drones here in total. Honestly, really not the end of the world here whatsoever. Rex decided to go for a 3rd hatchery. Nicely done. Rex, by the way, has been playing this game for, I think, as long as I recall. So he's from Taiwan. I think he's 29 years old, if I'm not mistaken. According to his Wikipedia page, at the very least, he is. And he's been playing this game for, yeah, a very, very long time. More Zerglings run in. That gateway is not in the right spot. That panicked pylon that herO ended up going for is mispositioned. So he was forced to, yeah, add on another desperation pylon right over there, trying to do as much damage on the other side of the map, by the way, in the meantime with oracles, but ends up losing that one too. Oracle number 1 and 3 apparently did decide to go back home, so they're going to be able to clean up these Zerglings. But because of that panicked pylon in that position, herO ended up not putting it down in the right spot, so that gateway that was supposed to be part of the wall-off could not actually be spent right over there, or could not be positioned right over there. Additional Zerglings just ended up killing 7 probes, and the Chaos also forced, well, that Oracle apparently to fly through the main base of the Zerg. Oh my god, there's a hole over there too. There's holes in this wall, left, right, and center. Okay, can herO repack himself after this start? He's not in a great spot, but he did go for a 3rd Nexus, because of course he did. That 3rd Nexus is actually so early. The fact that he got a 3rd Nexus here is wild. Is this something that the Zerg has even seen? Yeah, he didn't notice. All right. All right, Adepts going into the bases. 2 Adepts in the natural, 2 Adepts in the main base. Good control here once again by Rex, pushing this back for the time being, but this is definitely going to cost him a bunch of drones. How many is the main question here? All right, Oracle's now swooping in for more as well. There is a Spore Crawler and a Queen at the 3rd, but 2 more workers got sniped very, very rapidly. Obviously, these, though, did activate their Pulsar Cannon, and it does mean that they won't have a lot of energy available. No Spore Crawler or no Shield Battery Rodder at the 3rd hero of herO either. Is there enough energy to still clean up these links? Yeah, 34, 16 or so energy, I think, right after he started up the cannons. So, at the very least, these links will be pushed back. All right. Can we please complete this wall? Oh, he did. Oh, that's ugly, isn't it? I hate everything about that wall. Yeah, that's not great. The one pylon to find them, and in the darkness bind them. The one pylon to rule them all over here. Anyhow. So, every game that I've seen herO win recently is the one where he gets to be in the driver's seat, right? So he is the one that decides the pacing of the game and nobody else. Rex has read him like a book so far. Realizes exactly where he is and what kind of position he's in this series. He must realize that he is not the favorite in a match like this, right? But so far, very impressed with the way that he's approaching it. So his follow-up right now is going to be Roach Speed, together with +1 Missile. And he's actually started producing a lot of Roaches. He's gone to full 3-base saturation. Well, now a little bit less. After that Oracle is done going to town in the mineral line. 4 gateways coming up right here for herO. When is he going to take the 4th? He's still going to try, isn't he? You're so greedy, herO. Yeah, he's going to still go for a 4th base. All right. So this is basically herO putting all of his eggs in one basket. He knows very well that Zerg is likely making a whole lot of army. He's seen the timing of the 4th hatchery, and usually what Zergs do is they drone up 3 bases fully, then they plant down a 4th hatchery, and while they wait for the 4th hatchery to finish, they make a lot of army, right? Is Rex going to continue making army? Yes, he is. So Rex wants to try and see if he can punish that 4th base very, very soon. It's going to be Roaches with +1 Missile. He's going to try and hit his opponent in the face. herO is going for his favorite little Sim City right over here. So he's got a photon cannon protected by 2 pylons, a Nexus, and then also 2 gateways. And obviously, Roaches can just hit it from, you know, the other end. But this is still going to mess around the Zerg AI quite a bit. But apparently, this is the moment where Rex is ready to go and fight. He does have a bunch of Ravagers here in the mix, too. Barely any army available. Only 8 Stalkers here in total for the Protoss player from South Korea for now. Okay, Oracle's up in the air, but the Queens are here too. Excellent creep spread here from Rex. Getting to his opponent's side of the map very rapidly. And the cancel on that base has already happened. Rex now a good 60 supply ahead of his opponent. No stasis wards on the high ground either, and there's no way for Rex to actually scout for this. Instead, the Oracles decided to go towards the other side of the map. Are they gonna have to be forced to make the walk or the fly of shame? I guess so. They're going to be forced to move back home to try and defend the 3rd Nexus. But you know what? Despite the fact that some of those corrosive balls, I think, collected with the Zerg army there, I think Rex did it. This is such an awful situation right now for herO to be in. If he loses that 3rd Nexus, that would be a disaster. Armies being traded out. Those Oracles had a lot of energy, but all of it is going to be wasted on killing those Roaches. That is a good situation for the Zerg so far, but honestly, it's not game over yet. Very good creep spread here, by the way, from Rex. Yeah. All right, Rex, a little concerned about the situation, decides to add on some more drones. If herO wins this game, he's an absolute, like, god at Protoss. I mean, he already is, but he has been up with his back against the wall for such a long time. Alright, transfuses are gonna try and keep those roaches alive for a little while longer. Battery overcharge is once more available though for herO. Or I say once more. The man is not necessarily the biggest fan of making those, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually the first time he used that spell. Either way. Roach production is still through the roof. The main issue here for herO is that now the main base is gonna start running out of money, right? So we are 10.5 minutes almost into the game. He is going to be forced to send those probes towards the third base. And if Rex keeps up the pressure here, I think that herO is going to have a very hard time actually mining this. Okay, Roach is just pushing through. Biles connecting wherever they can. Queen's starting to work on the Nexus. It falls, and just like that, well, it didn't fall yet, but it was going to fall. Just like that, Rex ends up winning game number 1. Okay, game number 2. We find ourselves on Data C. Now, I would imagine herO decides to go for a probe scout this time around, right? Right? Yes, there we go. Skipping the worker scout in the earlier stage of the game, it is, for obvious reasons, a little bit greedy. Now, in his defense, probably 95 out of 100 games against Protoss, Zerg will go for a hatchery first. Not if you're going up against me on the ladder, okay? I will probably play about 50% of the time a 12 pool, just because I don't really like dying to a cannon rush, but there's no denying that, generally speaking, Zergs will go for a hatchery first at this level of play. I don't quite play at this level, obviously. Because of that, going for a probe scout is maybe not as necessary. Maybe herO sort of autopiloted into game number 1 as well, where he's like, okay, I guess I'm not gonna go for a gateway scout, right? And then he ended up, yeah, losing quite a bit of his early game to those Zerglings. Maybe he did go for a probe scout and I just missed it, but I don't think so. Pretty sure it didn't. Anyhow, game 2 is on Data C. This map has been consistently awesome. At least the matches I've seen on it so far, so got high hopes for this one as well. Now, don't get me wrong. I think in a straight-up game, herO is favored. Probably like, I don't know, 1 to 20 against someone of the caliber of Rex. Despite the fact that Rex is very good. Actually, Aligalek has this great little plotting mechanic. Hold up, let me... Yeah, this prediction mechanic where you can basically... Okay, I'm gonna do a best-of-5 between these two, so Rex and herO. It can predict what a series between these two would be like, depending on how they've been playing recently. Okay, so it gives... Oh my god. It gives a... That's almost dirty. In a best-of-5, it gives an overwhelming advantage for herO if he's going up against Rex of 99%. Okay, then. Well, obviously, that's just statistics. Mind games can certainly come into the mix. 99% is actually a very extreme example. What if I do a herO versus Lowko? Hold up, let me give this a try real quick. herO versus Lowko, show me the future. 0% chance for Lowko to win. It's giving a 95.72 probability that herO wins 3-0. So that means there's a 4% chance that I win a map. You know what? I'll take it. I'll take it. That's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. I know some of you were giggling there, right? You were probably maybe even like giving me the highest honors of like, you know, making like, you know, a blowing noise out of your, or a blowing noise out of your nose, right? That's the highest honors when you're watching YouTube videos, okay? When someone is, you know what I mean? Anyways, that's basically the internet equivalent of laughing out loud. I'll be honest, most of the times whenever I write LOL or I give you a laughing, crying emoji or something like that, you will barely even get a smile from me. Yeah. Yeah. Anyhow. Please tell me I'm not just a psychopath. That's just the standard, right? That's what everyone does, right? Right? Zergling gets in. Nicely done. Stalker probably distracted by shooting at the Overlord. So that Zergling Scout is going to reveal the timing right there of those oracles. And of course, herO is going to go for a quick third base. Nicely done by Rex, though. Rex is playing a clean series. Yeah, I like it a lot. Even though Aligalek is not apparently a huge fan of this. Not gonna lie. This is, yeah, looking pretty good so far here for Rex. Problem is, in a straight-up match, herO is very strong. That's the point I was trying to make earlier, right? So herO is gonna, I imagine, go for the Twilight Council and the fort very soon. And then he'll go into his beloved style, right? The beloved style where you go, there we go, there's the fort, there's the Twilight Council, where you can go for a gajillion gateway units, give or take. That's the actual number he goes for. Like, that's what he's aiming for. A gajillion. That's like a one with, like, you know, a gajillion zeros. I don't know how many zeros a gajillion has, okay? I can Google it for you. How many zeros has a gajillion? Is a gajillion even a number? A gallon? No, that's not what I want. A bajillion? A gajillion is not even a number. A bajillion, however, is. There you go. It's a big number. That's what it comes down to. Zerglings are going to be taken care of very rapidly here. A couple of drones were killed as well on the other side of the map by 2 adepts. Okay. The main question is, are those adepts going to find the Nidus network? You know what? I didn't see herO clicking on it, but he certainly did walk by it. Is Rex gonna double down and still try to go for the Nidus all-in? Well, despite the fact that maybe our Protoss player wasn't... Okay, no, he's gonna go for a very conservative placement right here at the front. Maybe he wasn't clicking on it, or he wasn't clicking on it, he still realized exactly what he was going up against. It's gonna be Zerglings and Queens, and there's an Overlord in the back of the main base of Protoss too, so there's certainly gonna be some aggression in that location. Transfuses right here will keep that Nidus network alive, but honestly... yeah, that's not the best situation to be in. Oracles will get killed. Nidus network in the meantime goes up, and actually the Zerglings just run through the natural. They just ran through the natural. The Zealot's apparently sleeping on the job. You know what? Maybe a Legalak isn't giving him much of a chance, but... Rex is making the best of this series so far. Don't know why the Zerglings are making a victory laps around the main base. Okay, maybe they wanted to go towards the low ground for a second. How many workers can he kill? Nidus network over here will definitely not get denied by 1 Zealot, assuming at the very least Zerg unloads. They don't. He's unloading inside of the main base. Why is he doing a victory laps? Not entirely sure why the links are going that way. Honestly, amazing crisis management right here by herO. He only lost 5 workers during all of that. It is going to be our Protoss who obtains a victory in game number 2. Alright, so our final game for today will take place on Tropical Sacrifice. I fast-forwarded through the first few minutes of this game, just because everything was normal. There was a probe scout once again from herO, who now decides to go for the Stargate, unsurprisingly. For a little bit there was quite a bit of variety in the early game for Protoss, but there was a gigantic Protoss meeting where every single Protoss player in the world came together, and they voted on whatever the best Protoss opener was, and apparently it's the Stargate. Yep, so this is now basically the only legal way of playing this matchup. Every once in a while we see like chrono boosted, you know, glaive adepts, right? Something like that, or we see like disruptor drops, and especially herO was doing a lot of disruptor drops, which was pretty sick, but yeah, no, they've basically decided, I guess, amongst each other that this is the way to go. This is the way that you want to play this matchup, and Oracles especially, yep, very popular. A little bit of a dance back and forth. 4 Zerglings this time around, chasing around those adepts, so herO's not going to be able to commit. We have a dinosaur. It's a bit of an ugly dinosaur. Sorry, I don't mean to insult you, man. This one doesn't even have feathers. That makes it a fake dinosaur. That's how that works. Real dinosaurs apparently have feathers. 2 adepts this time around. You do definitely need a couple more links, but yeah, with the amount of queens nearby, it's always tricky to make that decision. Oracle number 1 is out. Oracle number 2 coming up. 3rd Nexus started up as well. This Oracle flew straight into the welcoming embrace of Brenda and Karen. There they are. That's beautiful. Always inviting those Protoss units into their arms, but sadly, Very few actually take them up on that offer. Other than Zealots, but they're usually a little aggressive with their hugs. Twilight Council, together with the Forge. And first drone arriving at the third base is going to turn itself into a Spore Crawler as well. Okay. So because of all that moving, right? Protoss is actually at a nice little economical lead. Zerg obviously has the potential here to just, yeah, make a whole load of drones at once. But since Protoss is just being such a nuisance, and that's really where herO gains his advantages. He's capable of pushing the Zerg player to pull the workers all the time. If everything was mining all the time, I think Rex would have been in a economical advantage. But so far, herO has been looking pretty good as far as the income goes. There's the blink. There's the +1 ground weapons. 2 additional gateways coming up too. Okay, good snipes. Very nicely done right there by herO. Getting those 2 creep tumors is actually very annoying for the Zerg. Here's the lair. About 5 minutes. Nothing out of the ordinary there either. Alright. So very soon, herO is going to start picking up the pace. Yes. So this is what he does, right? This is his latest development. We have a pre-6-minute 4th Nexus here. Well, assuming he starts it up within the next 10 seconds. But I think he will. Maybe not. Because he just started up another pylon. He hit a supply block though, so he needs to, right? Ah, no pre-6 minutes? Doesn't have the money for it anymore. Maybe adding on an extra gateway a little bit too quickly there. Either way, the point I'm trying to make is that this man has been expanding very rapidly. Zerg is going to be able to take their 4th base actually at a very respectable pace too. But most of the time, Mr. herO has been outpacing his Zerg opponents when it comes to the expansions, which is pretty wild. Oracles and the depths at this point have spotted the hatchery right over there in the top left, so they know what's going on. There's the Bailing Nest and a +1 melee. Rex could definitely be thinking at this point about a potential Spire transition. But obviously he doesn't know exactly what the spot here he's currently in is, right? So he doesn't know if that's a safe decision to make. Instead he decides to go for the Bailing Nest. Blink is already done, which is one of the reasons why you want to go for such a quick blink in case it would be Mutas. If there would be a Spire building right now, this would be the first time that Zerg sees it. Adepts over here being a nuisance, killing a couple of drones. Stalkers in the meantime at the 4th base trying to be annoying too. 4 drones end up going down for right there for 3 of those adepts. Not bad whatsoever. Robo facility now chrono boosting out a Immortal. Prism coming up as a follow-up too. Okay. herO, are we gonna go for another base already? If you want to, man, you can. What is this? Static defense? I guess he was looking at the amount of Zerglings that were running by in the previous game, and he's like, okay, that's not gonna happen to me again. No Zerglings in the wall, though. I feel like this is an obvious mistake in herO's games. Like, I've seen at least a dozen games so far of the last couple of months where he doesn't have a unit protecting the natural. I don't want to give away any secrets right here for like a herO or a Raynor, but if these guys ever face off against him, I will tell you guys for sure that there's going to be Zerglings in the bases everywhere. Especially against someone like, for example, Raynor. Raynor is going to be backstabbing you left, right, and center. Assuming he doesn't switch to Protoss before then. Alright. Rex is hanging in here. Yeah. Rex is doing an excellent job hanging in here, playing a straightforward game. No cheese this time around. His economy is not as good as I would like it to be, but he's nearly maxed out. And gonna be able to make a pretty good army here. Here's the warp in the top left-hand corner. herO trying to go for some multi-pronged aggression. Will he be able to catch this Zerg player off guard? Banelings get morphed in the middle of the fight. That does mean, though, that the Zealots might be able to get some distraction in, but it's not gonna happen. Protoss not paying attention to those at all. Probably too busy looking at the main fight over here. But Rex is showing us that he's actually very capable. Yeah. Suck it, illegal egg. With your statistics and your realistic predictions and all that. Actually, that probably also means that I have a less than 4% chance to win a game against herO in a best of... Anyway, I don't want to talk about that part, okay? Unless he decides to skip his probe scout and I go for a 12 pool. Then, you know, maybe there's a chance. Next expansion coming up right here for herO. Not as quick as he was doing in that other series against a Rogue, where at the 9-minute mark he went for a 6th Nexus. This is the 5th one. Very conservative. No, this is still very aggressive. Big bridge here in the center of the map. Yeah. Rex is smelling some blood. A couple of Banelings trying to go in for the roll-by. Not gonna happen. Probe's already pulled. Zealots now coming in as well from the natural, though. You gotta be very careful. Those Zealots pack a punch with no Zealots... Or sorry, no counter right here for those Zealots. Because there's no Banelings in the mix. This is gonna do a lot of damage at the same time. Okay, sorry, let me back off for just a second. While this is all happening, apparently Banelings did split themselves away from the pack. And while that chaos is being created by herO, Rex is showing us that he's also capable of doing the same thing. I'm just a little bit concerned right here for his main army. Because that main army of his is looking mighty weak compared to what we have right here from our Protoss player. And honestly, herO only needs one little moment to just obtain the victory. Honestly, that may just have happened here. Like, he was going for an aggressive push to try and create chaos on the side of the Protoss player, but then the Zealots just chased down the majority of that army. And there it is. Despite the fact that he dealt a nice little bit of economical damage on the other side of the map, his eventual army turned out to not be big enough. And because of that, it's herO who obtains the victory.